Morning everyone, welcome to another video. Just like to say thank you to everybody that's watched my content. It's really uplifting. Yesterday's video was a difficult one. I put it out in my mind for a long time about what happened with the accident, but anyway, we need to move on, we need to move forward. Just like to say thank you for the subscribers that seem to be subscribing to the channel now. Fairly interesting content to those that are interested in what we do. Just a rough cover of what we're doing next week. We've got these brake calipers to rebuild. All the pistons are out. We had a right job with them. These are the ROYCE. These are off the shadow. As you can see there, they got two cylinders. So the way I understand, this is a low pressure circuit, that's the high pressure circuit, smaller piston. So we're going to rebuild those this week. We're going to do a video on them. They're going to be quite interesting. We're going to look at some pictures. We're going to look at buying classic cars and how we can all fall in love with classic cars when we go and see them and think that we can do impossibilities sometimes. It's not an easy game to be in, as most of you appreciate. We touched a little bit yesterday on. Let's get you down here. All this stuff's going out next week, pretty much. So that's all solved. We touched on. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, you can. We touched on these. These are really good. These are plug and play. This one is really tuned to what I deal in, Range Rovers and Jaguars. We're going to run this as a two-part. I've got the XJ out on the road now. I've just driven it out on the road. So we're going to do a two-part. So come back because we're going to go over that and have a look inside out. And I'm not going to spend too much today because it's supposed to be a holiday. So, and these cameras, we touched on these yesterday. We touched on these, didn't we? So these are plug and play. You can literally just get yourself an old laptop. Don't spend loads of money, don't have to. Buy good quality stuff. And literally you can find a button. Yeah, so literally you've got your light, you can go anywhere with that. If you lose stuff, down cavities like we all do, nuts, bolts and all sorts of shit. Then that will enable and get a strong magnet, and you can do that. This is just a Dell laptop, nothing major. I did. What I'm going to do is put all the pictures on disk, and then run them off one computer. But we've got various. I've got loads of Rolls-Royce ones in here as well. But yeah, get yourself a laptop, because at the end of the day, there's the Rolls pretty much as it is now. It's just that it's in the garage. You can see it's a beautiful car, and that's the corner we spoke about yesterday. You can see that, can't you? That's the corner we spoke about yesterday. So that car's really come forward. It's just that since Mum's died, I haven't done anything with it. This is some of the piano stuff we do, total restoration. But we do all sorts here anyway. As you guys know, I do all the woodwork and re-walnutting and all sorts. So I'm just just like the rest of you really, I'm just a humble bloke. I like to get that across, or, you know, what we're talking about. Right, this is an interesting car in the sense that it ended up, we didn't dismantle it, it come in. It was a red XJS 3.6, beautiful engines, really a bomb-proof. But when we dug into this particular car, it was horrific. I'll show you some pictures going through. This is why we need to be really careful about what we buy. And don't have these on your worktop, your missus will go mad. Or your girlfriend or whatever. Yeah, don't do what I do. I've got a lovely house, but at the end of the day, I live on my own, so it's quite simple for me to do. Have a bit of a laugh today, a bit more, I feel better today. It was a bit difficult yesterday. So all this stuff's going out next week. And if you've got a traction engine, you can't plug one of them into it. Always remember that. We're going to be looking at that as well. The organ's going out, the guys just texted me, he said to me, if you check with the bank, he's really keen to get it. So that's going out next week. We're going to do a full video of that when it goes out, get it out on the road. You'll see what the road, most of you guys, by the last video, see what the road's like. And wake a few of the neighbours up. It's going to be really funny because it is a loud organ and it plays really nice. So anyway, we're going to be covering that tomorrow. Well, when that goes, we'll do the video on that and get that out. And the rest of the stuff is, there's stuff in and out all the time. I've also got an arcade machine business. And I build retro cocktail cabinet arcade machines. And I'm fairly successful at it actually. So we need to promote that business as well and push that forward because that's another one that we do. Also, we're going to be moving, so there's going to be a load of building work as well. So there's going to be loads of videos on that. Keep an eye on that coming up because that's going to give you guys an insight to do the same. The thing about the channel is actually to inspire you to do what I've done. I've had a fairly bumpy past. Don't think I haven't. I have. I've lost everything more than once in my life. I've had houses. I don't know how many Jags I've had. I've had so many Jags, unbelievable. I've lost a lot, and I've rebuilt my life. I've literally got hold of it and pulled it together a couple of times now. I don't give up. I'm determined, and you must be the same. Don't buy into any of the mainstream nonsense that's going on in the world. Don't buy into their wars that don't happen in this country. Keep your mind focused on what you're doing. Keep your mind focused on your wife and your children and your parents and whatever, if you're lucky enough still to have them around. And move forward with your life. Be positive and go out there and do what you want. It's difficult. I mean, I spent 4 years in this house and I haven't even had the heating on in 4 years. It could be done. I literally live on a really, really tight budget. If I have to go without food to pay the bills, I will. So I'm not a rock star. I'm not a rich man. But I'm a man that won't be put down. And I suggest that going forward, that everybody's going to have the same sort of thing. Don't be told what to do in your life. Do what you want. And if people try to prevent you from doing that, then surround yourself with people that's going to inspire you, like we try to do. Because anybody can do what I do. Anybody. I'm not a brain surgeon. I never even went to school. I left school when I was 13. I got chucked out of school when I was 13. And I only used to go to school just to go on the trips, just to go on the just go. I was really mixed up with going down to see Old Lady Rose and go down to see her gallopers and see the organ. So yeah, I had a bit of a different life. So everything that I do, I'm self-taught pretty much. And you guys can be the same. You live in a world today that, you know, it's untold amount of information that we've got out there. We've got the internet, we got this, so many sources of doing what we do. Anyway, let's touch back on this. Let's touch back on these pictures. I want to do that with you. I'm just going to take my time today anyway. Who watches it is you know, if you get anything out of it, then good, have a go. You guys can always comment. You can always comment. We haven't had any comments on the video so far regarding what we do. But if we can help you with any of your projects going forward, then I'm always happy to do that. I'm always interested in people. I like people very much. And I like to do this thing, what we're doing. We're quite unique in the sense that, you know, the production side of it, what we do is we want to get that message over there, that we are there for you, utmost. So that's really important to me. Right, so you got a 4 litre XJS engine. At this point, this was locked up, so we done the necessary on it and unlocked the engine. As you can see, they were a really unique engine. I mean, a lot of you guys are familiar with them, but then those engines were really robust. They're bomb-proof. We did manage to get that running again. But we looked through and you can see it's damp, usual Jag thing. Jags always suffer with this problem because the carpets in them get absolutely saturated with water, and mostly due to blocked drains. So most of your classic cars that you've got out there, the first thing you want to do, you want to go around and clean all the drains, find out where the drains are, you know, the boot drains, and make sure that the water's getting out. And especially these vents. If you trace these vents, you'll find that these vents, most of that is all full of debris. And most of that, once they fill up, it fills up inside of the interior. So what happens is you get the water start going over and it always hits those lower floors. Always, and we'll demonstrate that in this picture. So we're not going to do I'm going to do a part 2 on the XJ. We're going to do that, I'm going to almost do that directly. So yeah, so that was the last time that car was taxed. As you can see, this went out about a year ago now. But this is what we always fall in love with. This is where we go wrong. Is that we see that and we say, look at that, isn't that a motor? Beautiful. We look around it briefly because we're so excited we want to get our wallet out. And we end up, when we start looking into it and actually getting it back on the road and getting it through an MOT, that it creates a big problem. So that's always an issue. This car come in with full service history, come in with everything. It's even got the original cassette there for the manufacturers. But you can see usual Jag stuff, especially in this era, all this veneer cracks. But you get that a lot. We had that with the Rolls Royce. As we got a whole interior, I've got a whole interior, I can do a presentation on that actually. We got hold of it and stripped all the lacquer off, and the lacquer's not easy to get off. I can tell you that straight, because what happens is that you end up damaging all the wood as well. I mean, we deal a lot in veneer. I do a lot in veneers. We do with the grand pianos and stuff like that because they have to be perfect. So we do a lot. I do re-veneer and everything here. Do all that. And sometimes I have to, if I got missing walnut, I might fill it and paint the walnut back in. Bit like we do with the fairground stuff, really, to get it to look right, to get it ready for lacquer. So yeah, you look at the car and you think to yourself, yeah, lovely motor. It was a nice motor. I like the XJS, but quite honestly, I don't believe they were a good car. They were run-off, as you guys know, from the E-Type Jag, but they weren't. And they were. I've got books that show with the E-Type Jag and how it was in the factory and how they actually got to that shape. Because originally that was going to be a mid-engine motor. The engine was going to be in the back, but they dropped a clanger on it. And what happened is they had to redesign the bonnet because they couldn't close it, and that's why we ended up with this. And what they did is literally designed a new engine, which Jaguar have got an history of that. That's why they got so many different, different engines, like the 3.6, 3.8 of the old motors, like the old Mark 10s and that. So, I mean, the finest Jag for me that I've ever owned probably is the XJ6. The XJ6. I mean, if you can still buy XJ6s. And you can build yourself a lovely motor. And quite honestly, the XJ6 is a masterpiece. It looks and drives. It drives like a Bentley. We've had many Bentleys as well, and it drives as good as any Rolls Royce. The same as that XJ that's out there. That XJ drives like a Bentley, pretty much. Anyway, we're going to do a second part on that. Thanks for staying with us, anyway. Yeah, so you can see that this car, I believe, has been restored. I come across a vintage car. Well, it wasn't a vintage. It was a rally. It was a. I don't know if it was a Jag rally or if it was a classic car show anyway. And I did recognise because it's still running these black trims. And I recognised the car. And I believe the car is still on the road. If any of you guys are watching, let us know on that one. I'll be interested to see. But anyway, we'll go forward with this. This is the Rolls. And this is what I deem to be double patching. So what I normally do, I normally cut out a section, and I normally weld a section in the back of it, and then form the front, and build a good strong cavity. And this is what the Rolls have. You can see the trusted angle grinder down on the floor. So it did have some rot. Yeah. So this is pretty much what we do. And then what I should do is I should take that back and build a plate and cut a plate for that section, so that you've not only tackled. Don't get hold of holes with, especially with decay, where you literally just cut the hole out and plate it and that's it. Take a section out. It's really important. You need to cut a section out. Don't be afraid to cut metal. You can always fabricate. I do all my own fabrication. It's easy to do. You can go to a lot of guys that are merchants and keep many different types of steel. Don't use stainless steel. Don't try and grind stainless steel. It's lethal. Absolutely lethal. Be really careful when you do your welding. And when we do all sorts of welding, we do TIG welding, we do MIG as well. I also do oxyacetylene, and I also do arc welding here. So there's no problems with that. Anybody who lives locally that we can help, we're always happy to help you. But watch these segments especially, because what you'll tackle a hole, and you might plate that, but you'll find out behind that is dead as well, that's gone. So always look at this section behind what you're doing. So try and make, when you do your cars, make sure that you try to do as much structure as you can. You see another one there. You can see the isolator behind there as well. Because remember that these cars were painted in red oxide. There's a nice picture of a classic Rolls Royce. I absolutely love Rolls Royces. But again, Rolls Royces, most Rolls Royces that get brought in for restoration normally end up one way, in my knowledge of them. They normally end up getting broken, and they do. Because the trouble with it is that these parts, especially these surrounds alone, are 300 quid second hand. The grille, like we touched on the other day, is a couple of £1,000. So a lot of guys break them because there's a lot of value in them, especially companies like Flying Spares. Flying Spares break, they've got untold amounts. They buy 90%. Flying Spares buy 90% of Rolls Royce parts on Rolls Royce motors, and most of that goes export. Very few of them cars are actually put back on the road, because they're not an easy car to put back on the road. They're easy to work on. You see the interior there. See the door cards coming off now when we're moving them and moving forward. So in the end, all this interior comes out. Everything, doesn't matter what it is, all the lot comes out. And then what we do is we do the usual. We wire wheel the interior. We found a diamond in there as well, which is quite funny. I found a few diamond rings in rollers. I mean, it's just that sort of motor because of the wedding to it. But if you're going to do this type of restoration, don't piss about with them. This car had all new window seals. It's had all new seals. All the drains have been cleared. Make sure that you get down to stable ground. You must. It's really important. Take the interior out, photograph everything like we touched on yesterday, and make sure that you wire wheel the floors, red oxide the floors. And normally, what I normally do, I normally get Amorite or something going on top of that. And make sure that and then you can insulate them then. You can insulate them properly. You can get hold of from eBay, you can get all your silver matting that you can put down for all your sound, so you can make the car actually quieter than what it was when it comes from the factory, which is a really good move. Another one there. See, as we're going along now, we're beginning to... These seats, I think this is probably, if I remember correctly, this is where we're reassembling. So this level work's been done now. So what I do with level work, sometimes I have to get the needle and cotton out and do a patch, and what I do is, there's so many good products now. And what I do is I respray all that, so that's all resprayed. We do a section on the interior, where we pulled the interior to pieces. I think this is probably reassembly. Again, it's had some more work around the tail end. So what we do, all these will come off and be stripped. But you've got to remember when you do interiors, especially Jags, Rolls Royces and Bentleys, that all this interior is normally it's all what we call book matched. I don't know if a lot of you guys are familiar with that, but always be careful of that, because all the interiors are laid out in a book. So we need to, you need to be aware of that too. You can't just you can't just introduce sometimes, especially woodwork on Rolls Royces, you can't introduce woodwork from other cars. Because what you'll find is that where they've matched it, because it's come off the same tree, it's been matched individually to build a picture, and you'll see the lines down them where they've actually joined the two together because it's come off the book. It's exactly the same with grand pianos when we do this. So these seats have been done. Yeah, this is an update now. The seats have been done. The boxes are still out. The dashboard hasn't been taken out yet and done, but we've done the structure. So all the soundproofing's gone in. All the floors we know are very, very good at this stage. There's no damage to the floors, no water damage, nothing. And what we've done is we've soundproofed it. We've given it red oxide like it was from the factory firstly, and then what we've done hammerite on top of that, and then we've got our sound deadening that's gone into the floor also. Again, exactly the same procedure. So what we do is we do the repair on this. This is due to a drain from a boot. They're always the same. If you got rust on your classic car, you've got bubble rust on your classic car, the chances you're going to find out that you've got a drain issue. You've got a block drain somewhere, and what's happening is it's filling up. It's not draining away, because you'll find that there's pipes. There's a pipe that runs through the bottom of this one. And what happens is the water that comes from the boot, it goes around and it goes down the drain. It can't get away. It goes in there and rots out. And that's a simple fact. So if you want to do it properly, then do it like that. And that's just due to water, because water can't get away from the area, and that creates all those problems. And they destroy classic cars. Right, okay. Right, I'm going to wind that up pretty much now. Thanks for, like I said before, thanks for everybody looking. The part 2 on this one, I'm going to put this one out now. The part 2 on this one is going to be the XJ. We're going to have a look around that, because I've still got camera issues, as you can appreciate. I've got a gimbal cover. I just bought one yesterday. So that's going to make life a lot easier going forward. So anyway, I hope I've been of some help to you, you guys that's out there. I know everybody's. I get so many views regarding the Rolls. The Rolls is. It's funny that when you've actually got a car like that, you don't really appreciate it as much as people that have, that have never really seen it. We're gonna do a deeper dive. Let's have a look at 1703. I'll just look at 1703 because there's some interesting files in there. Let's have a look, see what we got. Right, if I go 1703, remember I'm going to put all these on discs. 1703. I know you guys don't mind waiting. Right, okay. I know you guys don't mind waiting. So I'm not going to worry too much. Right, okay. That previous picture, that's when I was mixed up with a very famous biker gang. I was in Canada, Ontario. I was going out with a girl that was a member of the Ontario chapter, and that's another story we'll look at later. My fascination with choppers and motorbikes is quite amazing. We did do motorbike restoration as well. Do all sorts really. We do all sorts. I do small engines, so we do lawn mowers, pressure washers, anything, generators, anything, yeah, pretty much. It's not always for money. It's not about money, really, with me. It's more about trying to help people and go forward. Right, so looking at this one, we know this is, well, those that do know. You can see the Rolls there. Mark Bolan. Mark Bolan, very famous musician. I know a lot of you youngsters don't know who he is. He was in a band called T-Rex back in the day, and I was doing because we got a building restoration company as well. I restore. I'm a bricklayer. I'm originally a bricklayer subcontractor, but I'm also a stonemason and a dry stone waller and specialise really in historic buildings. And I've worked a lot over the years with the rich and famous, up to very recently, actually. I won't mention any names, but yeah, quite prestigious in that. I've worked on some of the most ornate and most famous buildings probably in the UK over the years. And the family has as well, we go back over 400 years. Anyway, a little touch on that. Yeah, Mark Bolan, T-Rex. He got, I mean, if you guys look it up, he's a very unique guy. He used to have his own television series with David Bowie back in the day. And he used to do a lot of the guitar solos for David Bowie and some of his tracks that most of you are familiar with. Some of you are too young, you wouldn't remember. Anyway, unfortunately, the guy fatally died in Barnes in London. His girlfriend was driving and they'd just come out of the pub or whatever they'd done. Mark Bolan hadn't had any drink at that time and wasn't on any drugs or anything, even though a lot of the guys were doing them in them days. And come around the corner and went down a little embankment and hit a tree and sadly lost his life, but he was a passenger in the car at the time. Anyway, there's a full story on there. I know there's a monument down there in London, been there many times myself. So yeah, the iconic Rolls-Royce sign, which is iconic all over the world, isn't it? But he was a great musician. This is one of the arcade machines we build. I'm going to start building them again as well. A really successful business actually for me going forward. There's a lot of people that's wanted to buy into it. But they're arcade machines, they're retro ones like the old coffee cocktail cabinets, but they play, you can plug, they're Wi-Fi, you can plug your laptop in, computer into them, sit there, have a cup of coffee and read your emails and literally play 3,500 games on them as well. All the old stuff like Space Invaders and all that. So anyway, we'll be building them again soon enough, I think. There's one there you can see. Fascination for grand pianos. Right, I don't know if you can see that one. Now this is, like we said, we touched on before, that this normally is the fate, I don't know if you can see that XJS in the background there. That's the red one. That's another Rolls-Royce we was mixed up with. Now see, this is the Rolls after we done the engine. The engine was done here actually. It was running, but it had the usual problems. Ballast resistors is always a common one with Rolls-Royces. You literally, if you hold the key, they run. If you take your finger off the key, they're just dying. That's all due to ballast resistors. They've got two sets of coils, 2 inch and halves. I believe they're inch and halves. I don't think they might be bigger. But she's a 6 1/4 litre power station. 2 sets of points, and you can see again with the self-leveling suspension. So it's got full leveling, self-leveling suspension, unlike the Shadow 2. When the Shadow 2 was released, they done away with the front leveler, and they just concentrated on the back because they found that the Shadow 1 having the 4 lifters was a pain in the ass basically. Inside of this, so it's a V8. Inside of this, you've got 2 camshafts, and you've also got 2 pumps. These two pumps charge the high pressure system of the brake system. They work off 2 cams, and they've got 2 lift pumps. and they go up and generate, and that's what they do. So they're generators. They always suffer with problems. They literally come down to a thin tip that sits on top of the cam, and what happens is they break off. Normally what destroys the engines on these engines, especially these 6 1/4s, is the fact that the tip breaks off and ends up going down through the engine. And that causes catastrophic engine failure. So those all have to be checked. So literally what we do is we take them out, we go through those and make sure that they're right. They're not cheap to buy, they're about 500 quid each. And nobody makes them anymore. So that's another interesting point. The reservoir brake system is a 2-part reservoir. It's got one part for the high pressure system and another part for the normal low pressure circuit, which goes down. So it's broken into 2 sections. We'll be doing a video on that as well. Hope you guys are still with me on this one. I'm enjoying this one today. So this engine's been cleaned and it's been brought up together. That's how I like to see them. It's done in a satin finish. Looks a dog's bollocks. And I normally do the beige in black because and normally run them that way. It's had a multitude of new hoses and various done to it. Right, you can just see the fan blade there. It's got the fan blade there. These are a viscous fan, even a 68. There's the header tank for the water system, and you can just see the outline of the radiator there. But they're a big unit. They're fairly easy to work on because they're not computerised. They're fairly easy to work on, but everything is big and everything is super big. You know, it's quite. There's the iconic picture. They're super big, but the point about that, flying spares pretty much have dominated the market now. So it's a lot harder getting hold of these parts for these shadow ones as well now, and they're not rare. I mean, they're probably easier to get hold of parts for the rolls than what they are for a Mark III Cortina, to be fair. So always bear that in mind. If you go for cars like this, they're high risk cars in the sense you can get hold of the parts, but you'll pay a lot of money for them. And they are a joy to behold. Right, we've covered most of that this morning. It's Monday today, as you guys know. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We're getting lots more people subscribed. I'm getting better every day with it, I think. You make your own mind up about that. And tune in. And as I say, if any of you guys got anything pretty much that we can help with, I'm always happy to help. It's not about money. It's about community, really. And what we need to do going forward with everything, I think, is to get back to community and get people and encourage people to go out there and talk and go out there and make YouTube videos and get the message out there. Don't live in fear. Don't live in fear of anything. I don't care if I die tomorrow. It's irrelevant to me. I don't really care. If I don't wake up tomorrow, it doesn't matter. You know, I don't care. I care more about where this country's going. And always remember that that there's more of us than what there are of anybody. They haven't got the numbers. We got the numbers, and if we don't want to do something, make sure we don't do it. Don't be like it was in 2020, where people. I mean, I never complied with 2020. I never put a mask on my face. Wouldn't do it. Had loads of rows about it, but there we go. I don't mind a row. And I never took nothing. I never put anything in my body. I wouldn't put nothing in my body that I didn't know what it was. So I wouldn't do that. It's common sense at the end of the day. And this channel and what I do is based on common sense. It's based on nothing else than that. So don't do as you're told. Do as you want. You know, and that's what you're going to do. And we need to convert as many people going forward to that idea as well, because we decide what we do. It's our lives. They're our kids and our families and our property as well. We need to defend our properties. That's why we've got the dogs. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Rattled a little bit. But yeah, I got a lot of rattle. And check into to part 2. I'm going to do part 2 probably in a minute, because the XJ's out on the road. So what we do is we'll have a look around that. We'll open all the doors up and that, and you can see what it's like. It looks quite nicer. It's a little bit dirty, we're going to clean it. And tomorrow's video, I've got 3 viewings on that other house tomorrow. And I've got this organ going out. He's so excited that he's bought it. I expect all you guys have seen the videos for that. So he's so excited, he can't wait to get it. I don't blame him, it's a lovely thing. And a one-off, probably the only one like that in the world, I know that for a fact. So anyway, thanks for staying with us, those that have stayed. And look out for that XJ video, and look out for the XK. I'm going to continue doing what I do on a daily basis. As you guys know, it's raw footage. I don't do any rehearsals. I ain't that sort of bloke. I'm big enough and hard enough to stand up and just stand in front of a camera and film and put it out to millions of people. So anyway, please like and subscribe to the channel. You know the channel, everybody seems to be getting to know it now. It seems to be getting more popular going forward. Any ideas you've got, let us know. But always remember, with what we're doing, what you do with what you're doing, get yourself a good platform. You can take this outside. I should be taking this outside when we do the inspections into the XK and the XJ. And I should literally be running what's on the table. Make sure you've got something with the platform where you can keep your information, your books. Always write down what you do. Always photograph everything that you do. Like I said to you before, don't go out there and buy new stuff. That's the only thing you need that's new. Buy that new. Don't buy it second hand. And it'll come with all your books and cables and stuff like that. But as far as your laptop's concerned, your cameras, buy your new camera, run an old laptop. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. Anyway, God bless you all, and thanks for staying with us. If you didn't switch off because you was totally bored, then I don't blame you. And I'll catch you on the next one. Look out for the XJ and the XK. Thanks very much. Bye bye.